Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about, sorry, my microphone is a little bit off. Today's video is going to be about, again, the snowstorm that could be occurring across the country. This is just one weather model that I'm showing you right now. You can see it's pretty broad. It's the one that trends the snow furthest to the south, but definitely, not the correct one. It's even if it is the most correct out of all of them, it definitely still will change. And we're still a couple of days out from the system, but it looks as if this system will again be forming. The likelihood of the system even being there is 100%. Of the likelihood of the timing and intensity and track, as I would actually say, is relatively high. There has been quite a good bit of agreement with the weather models and way more, I guess, confidence than on the last previous system. So that's good news. If you like this channel, I would like to, if you like this channel and view it every time I upload a video, remember, liking the video really helps out a lot. And remember that if you are a new viewer, go ahead, check out the channel, watch this whole video, and see if this channel is worthy for a subscription yourself. I'm not going to force you to anything, obviously. So let's get into the models. So let's look at the Canadian first, as this is the one I've pulled up, and let's look at the MSLP and precipitation, which basically shows us the mean sea level pressure and precipitation map on the U.S. continental United States. So let's look at this step by step through 6-hour intervals for the next 240 hours. Notice we have these little small patterns, small systems occurring across the country right now. They're really not amounting to much. As you can see, this system right here across northern Illinois, it tracks across northern central Illinois, northern Indiana, but it leaves really snow across Minnesota, Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin. But notice it could actually intensify into a relatively significant storm off the coast, but that still brings quite a bit of heavier snow potential into areas like Vermont, New Hampshire, and into Maine and New York. So that is definitely something we have to, I guess, keep an eye on for. In terms of the National Weather Service and a radar, I won't be making a separate video about this system, as it just doesn't seem too large enough to be making a video about, especially when there's such a large system coming after it. Kind of juxtaposes the situation, contradicts it. So again, 3 to 6 inches possible, even up to a foot in some locations, higher elevations across New England. So I know those haven't been complaining. You could get actually a little bit of snow out of this before you get the main snow out of the next system. So that's a little bit of good information. Notice if you live somewhere in Nova Scotia, southeastern Canada, extreme southeastern Canada, notice you could actually see quite a bit of heavy snow. Now we start seeing the second system organized Thursday, Friday, and we see a nice band develop, or quite a bit of sleet and freezing rain potential, though it doesn't seem like it will be prolonged over a certain area. Even if it does occur, it will be followed by rain, or a transition to snow will follow. So really, this rain, snow, sleet scenario doesn't pose itself too good. But this is the Canadian model, so this is the one that takes the system furthest to the south, and notice it puts all snow for areas like Chicago, central to northern Illinois, central to northern Indiana, and southern Michigan, and a little bit of snow, again, quite a bit actually across Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Michigan area. So that was definitely something to watch. And then look, it really intensifies across the Northeast, especially really delivering quite a bit of snow across the coastal areas, according to this model. Now you can see that the snowfall amounts are pretty significant if you were to look at them. Notice that there is a widespread 9, 6, 7, 5. It's not the biggest storm you've ever seen, but it's disruptive because of the widespread scale of this. It's a big storm. It's a large system. Not necessarily overly strong. It is fairly powerful, but it's just very large, widespread, and you could see as it moves off into the further east, it develops into a stronger and more narrow system, which kind of, I guess, amplifies the snowfall amounts. You can see some locations 16, 17 inches. But this is not just from one event. This is from the first event that also occurred. Still, it's a relatively good, a little bit more across the Northeast and the Midwest. Let's look at the GFS model now, as there are some pretty significant differences. So I really want to point all of that out, and then we'll obviously still look at the European model, and maybe some of the higher resolutions like the North American model, which I think may just start showing that system in its reach, as it only goes out to 84 hours, so it's only used as a short range. Notice GFS really doesn't intensify the system across the Northeast too much. really does that once it's off the coast, but still parts of Maine, New Hampshire could still see 3 to 6 inches. Definitely that possibility. Notice same thing as the Canadian model, the GFS does with this system, puts out a nice area of sleet, freezing rain, and mainly snow across the northern U.S. Then it's pretty heavy snow across Illinois, northern Illinois, I should say, northern Indiana, southern Michigan, Wisconsin, all of Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota. But then this system tracks further to the north. Notice it takes a northerly track, and this brings in rain for parts of Illinois and southern Michigan. But before that does occur, we could see actually quite a bit of snow out of the system, as it will have some pretty heavy snowfall rates. So, just because it transitions to rain afterwards doesn't mean it'll all melt. Rain is not efficient at melting snow as much as you'd like it to be. Usually warm temperatures are the ones that really get on that snow cover. When it's, borderline 32 degrees and it's raining on some snow cover, you're maybe going to melt a couple of inches of snow if it's a heavy rain. In a situation like this, most of the snow would just refreeze and be pretty rock solid hard. So not good for, I guess, playing in the snow, or really travel, but at least it will be there to look at. Then notice it moves off into the northeast, a pretty northerly track from the GFS. We see parts of coastal New England also getting in on this, but then mainly the interior parts of the New England of the northeast get in on this. Notice total snowfall accumulations really significant across the Midwest, up to a foot of snow, getting down as far south as Missouri. They're showing the snow, but that again won't be falling as snow, as this is kind of where the ice falls, but the GFS still includes the ice in here, and that kind of makes a glitch in here. And if I were to show you the surface and precipitation map across central Missouri, there was, I think, not a single frame that actually even showed moderate snow across those locations. Yeah, you could see a little bit right there, and I'm telling you right now that would not be equivalent to 12 or 7 inches of snow. That's just not happening. But further up north, definitely possibility. Notice in Pennsylvania, a little bit of snow as well. New Hampshire, Vermont, and into upstate New York, also seeing a little bit of snow. Just some more conservative amounts with the GFS. But like I mentioned in yesterday's video, there is a increasingly chance for southerly tracked systems, which could, again, you could see, deliver snow into Texas according to this model. I'm not saying that there will be one exactly over this area at this time. I'm just saying that it seems like there is an increase with a potential for a southern system right now, as a cold air will be making a comeback. The cold pattern is back in place, so we'll have to watch for that. Let's look at the European model now. European is the last long-range model that I will look at for this system. Notice it delivers off a pretty strong system across the northeast, stronger than what the GFS indicated. So that is pretty interesting. You could see a couple up to several inches of snow possible, and then it really develops off the coast, which is a little bit unfortunate. It would be awesome if that developed closer on shore. Notice European does also a more northerly track for this system, introduces a little bit of freezing rain for the northern Illinois, Chicago area, but stays all snow for Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Milwaukee. I know I have fans that watch and always want snow. Des Moines, Iowa will see mainly snow out of this, maybe a little bit of transition to rain/snow. And then into Michigan, southern Michigan, it seems as if it will be some maybe snow, then mainly rain. And northern Michigan stays mainly snow. Then this system almost reorganizes itself according to the European, sends out a second system almost right there. It really develops, takes a northerly track, so all of these locations will be seeing rain, but then parts of the northeast still end up seeing a little bit of snow. You can see even parts of New York City get a thud of snow, if you will, kind of a quick burst, and that passes through. So what will be the result of that? What will there be any significant snow? And the answer is yes. Even despite your location maybe not seeing the most snow, or maybe seeing a little bit of rain, the snowfall amounts may still be rather impressive. So you saw that Chicago saw mainly rain out of that, or at least it seemed it will be majority of rain for that event. You could still actually get up to 2 to 3 inches out of that of snow, so that's pretty cool. Notice that the snowfall amounts really increase though as you go up further north. So Chicago area really not seeing much, maybe 1 to 2 inches at its finest. But then as you move up north up here, you can see 8, 9, 10 inches widespread, and this is again the fact that the storm is so widespread, what makes it really, I guess, dangerous for travel, especially airports, air travel. Thank goodness it's the time of the year where everything is relatively calmed down after the holidays, So you can see a few pockets where lake enhancement may occur, 13 inches of snow over a foot. And again, this is just looking at the 10-to-1 snowfall ratios. If you were to look at the Kuchera snowfall ratios, they would be higher. They would be much, much higher. Now, whether the Kuchera snowfall ratios are right or not, that's tough to say, as the thermal profile is 10-to-1. I would say that's a good estimate for this snowfall. I don't think there would be, close to 2 feet of snow from such an event like this. Just too quick moving, too little moisture, really, though. The moisture will be plentiful, not as plentiful as you'd like for a giant system. So if we were to look at now some of the North American models, let's look at it. Ignore the snowfall. This is mainly probably ice. It just treats it as snow. Let's look at the radar range / frozen and see what this NAM does, this North American model. I usually look at it as take it with a grain of salt, as it's just really not a good model all by itself. It needs to have support from other models in order to have something accomplished. No, this really, we're focusing on this snow up here and this ice. The precipitation to the south, the rain won't be significant at all, but notice that it takes it out only this far. But a good swath of snow develops, and if you were to look at the total snowfall up here, there's some pretty good amounts, 5, 6, 7 inches already. And this again would be mostly ice rain, freezing rain. So that don't really look at that and say, wow, we could get up to 13 inches across Kansas City, because you most likely won't. You'll maybe get an inch of 2 if you're lucky from that initial burst. So that is basically it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to let you know that across the Northwest there will be an increased chance of snow and cold as well. Some lower elevations of the mountain, by the mountains, got some snow the past couple of days, so that was pretty interesting to see. And that was as forecasted, as it will be cold and there will be quite a bit of storms coming in. So even places like Seattle could see some snow out of that. If they haven't already, I'm not sure. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and consider subscribing. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.